right? For example, lowball. So generally, it's one tactic is very common where supplier offers unusually low price. So this can be one of the tactic in negotiation which supplier applies. So basically, this is as it is clear that any entity offering unusually low price means that supplier wants to be in business, right? Once they would take the business, then at such a lower price, it would be kind of like interlocking where it would be very difficult for buyer to switch to another supplier because this price is very attractive. So this can be one of the strategy which supplier might be using, which is called lowball. While negotiating, there should be a tactic where it is better to listen more than talking. So sometimes, it is also very close to a tactic called the maintain silence in between, whenever party feels that it is good to hear more, right? And because sometimes during negotiation, uh, especially like if we are negotiating on products with new information or with the recent advancements, it is better to listen more. You might get some more information which can be useful in taking the negotiation forward. Okay, so keep taking notes, review the notes, right? This is very important, especially the products which I have just told. Also sometimes if you maintain more silence, that the silence of one party can be considered for the other party as if you either not uh, liked the offer, or you have some other opinions about the offer. That silence actually gives the other party some apprehension, and with that apprehension, the other party might offer some concession or some other offers. So it is very important to maintain that calm, listen more, and silence. Such tactics, similar tactics can be used in negotiation. Many a times, supplier and buyer, they go for open-ended questions, right? It is again very similar to the situation which I have just mentioned. Sometimes we want to, some entity wants to reveal new information, other party wants to know new information. So this is very important. If we have open-ended question to know more about the product, to know more about new advancements happening. So but one more thing is that the open-ended question also give a period of relief, because if we are if one party is asking open-ended question, other party would think through and then respond. Many a times it just give a period of relief for both the parties to introspect, to think upon, and then proceed with the negotiation. So many a time when parties are negotiating, so if some party feels that I'm the one which is offering so many concessions, right? I'm the one which is ready to forego my wants. We have learned wants. What is wants? Like, it is likely to offer. Okay, so likely to forego. It's not must. It is just likely. So such kind of wants which we are ready to forego. Many times we think that there are too many concessions which we are offering, and to not get into the trap of offering so many concessions, it is better to take a break. Okay, so don't try to fight fatigue also. That is another reason one must take break from negotiation. So you should be able to decide while negotiation. The tactic is when to take a break, right? And definitely negotiation has to be on ethical grounds. So refrain from bluffing, right? uh, Use only the data which can be proved. Okay, so avoid bluffing, the on data. So another is highball. So this is another tactic, which uh, parties use while negotiation. So what is highball? This is abnormally high initial position on an issue. So So when mostly in negotiation, the buyer the buyer can actually give a very abnormally high initial position, or supplier, can actually charge a very high price, and right. So the position, the initial position, position is the offer on the table. So if they would have or any other issue other than price also, if we would put forth this position at very high value, right? In that case, gradually when we would be continuing the negotiation, right? So we can actually make concession from those extreme positions. So we can actually it might appear to other party that this the first party has been offering really a lot. It has come down from very high position to this concession level. So that appears as if there is a good offering for the other party. So this is another tactic which negotiation parties they use. So there can be many other tactics which prevail. Sometimes the parties, they just want to have a trial kind of uh, tactic, where they would, if they are not 100% sure what they can offer, they can always just sense, try to sense that by stating that what if we would come back with this offer later after checking with our top management. What if, what would be your view if my company would endorse this offer. So this is like a question or tactic which actually like signal about the other party's view on some proposal. So such kind of tactics are also there when we negotiate. But the very important thing, and a very important tactic to keep in mind is that when it comes to best and final offer, right? So that is last and final offer. So when the parties must know and must be firm on that what is their best and final offers, right? So if we would say best, and if it is final, that means it should end the negotiation. So if uh, party is aware and very firm that this is the best offer for me, and it is a final offer, right? In that case, or if the party has declared this is the final offer, the negotiation must end at that offer. Because in case uh, one party tries to end with the best offer or with their offer, whether negotiation results in positive or negative, but if it is signaled to end by one party, and if other party uh, would try to influence to break that, that might result in uh, not so good, not so beneficial agreement for the first party. So in such case, one must be very clear that what is the best offer, what is the butna for them, and not to deviate from them. And from that point, that is the final offer, and beyond that, there shouldn't be, the negotiation must end at that point. So this is very important tactic in negotiation. One must, parties must use. So these are some tactics. So there are other aspects in negotiation one can see. So sometimes we see that one entity has more power, one party has more power in negotiation. Um, so uh, generally power is a word, right, which is mostly used as if it is a controlling or authoritative in nature. But sometimes it is important to use it as a relative power. Means like when two entities are negotiating, one entity might have better power over other. It's a better control. So because in real sense we say the power is ability to influence other person, party or organization to do something. So this is not to control, but many a times the situation would be like that, it might be because of expertise, it might be because of technology advantage, it might be because of large scale organizations, right? So big organization that actually uh, influences the other party in negotiation. So this is this generally has to be exercised with a lot of caution, because if one would think that they are powerful and the offer which they are providing to the other party using their power, it might result in actually impasse, or it is just a detrimental, right? So it can be just a it can fire back, so such can be a coercive power. So this must be avoided. But at the same time, uh, this power, uh, if we would see as a relative power between two entities, so many a times the organization can influence the other entities, right? For example, long back, when semiconductor supply chain was just coming into picture, in the era when electronics products were just like making their place in different products. That time there was so the relative power of original equipment manufacturing in semiconductor sector was much more than the small players, small suppliers, which will provide boards and all, or IC circuits to the OEMs. So in that case, the power was like, in negotiation, during negotiation, it was like, considered to be OEM to be were considered to be relatively more powerful, because uh, they would kind of like command to supply the products based on their their uh, requirements in terms of time, lead time, and replenishment strategies. They would always have this terms and conditions, that they would get the required quantity, whatever quantity they want, at what time they want. So they would dictate to the small suppliers. So but time changes, and then these days, that's what these days this power has not much meaning, but still the relative power might be there in case the entities are more knowledgeable, more advanced in technology. In that case we can see little bit of relative power happening. So these days the relative power has changed also. The now the semiconductor small suppliers, they actually have terms and conditions with OEM, that if they would reserve capacity at their place, they can be given some discounts. So what discounts, what capacity, those kind of these can be again another issues of negotiation. So here we would see that power is there, but we would use the word relative power, and it keeps on changing when we see negotiation. So this is about power in negotiation. The other aspect in the concession is the in negotiation is the concessions, right? So if you remember, we have discussed the complete pictorial view of what are the important terminology in negotiation. So we have seen that each entity has some interest which is not revealed to other party. Position is the first offer kept on table, and everyone has their reserved point, reserved aspect on every issue. Issue can be an objective, right? And they have some needs which are kind of musts, they must have, and there are bonds which are likely, correct? So which are likely, the parties are likely to have it, but these are the candidates which are likely to have it. These are the candidates which can be negotiated with the parties, means these are the candidates which, you know, the companies, the parties are ready to forego, and this is called concession. The aspects in the bonds which, you know, parties are ready to forego, right, they are called concessions. So offer something of value, offer something of value to gain something else of value. So it's not like, you know, that it just parties would just give away, you know, some of the bonds as concession, right? Uh, it would be it would be given away only if, you know, if one party is ready to forego something on concession. This is only done with the condition of, you know, uh, getting back something, you know, in return, or best way out is offer something of value to gain something else of value, right? So offerings away or other than that of position. For example, you know, if, you know, our issue is price reduction, okay, so if I want to achieve this price reduction, okay, I know what is my walk away or my partner. So I know opening and target. Okay, so to achieve this one, right, if to achieve my target, if I have to, like, you know, I can offer an immediate or full contract, right, this is the concession, or I can extend the offer by one more year. If I would sense that it is very difficult to get, can I offer a concession to achieve this value, right? It can be like, you know, completion time, right? If I want to you know, ask supplier, why not you complete in 6 weeks, right? And with that, you know, there will be reduction in very specific uh, or sophisticated testing, like I if another party have, you know, this wants, like, you know, the inspection and testing has to be very stringent, so there can be little relaxation over that. This can be a concession for, you know, getting this value, right, this value from supplier, and offering this concession to the supplier. So in this way, you know, but one while negotiation, right, on the go, it will be very difficult to think of this concessions, like, you know, it cannot come promptly. So that's why, you know, we are discussing this as a part of plan, negotiation plan. One has to be very clear on you know, what are the objectives. No doubt, you know, all the objectives should be clear. The priority of all objectives or issues should be clear, right? And along with that, you know, the these issues should be very well defined with the maximum minimum reserve price, you know, the target values, that should also be very clear. Along with that, you know, the concessions listing of concessions is very useful when we are negotiating. We are very clear that if, you know, we want to have this one, what are the things, you know, we can offer or we can forego, right? So if this is planned a priori, if they are listed, you know, it is really handy at the time of negotiation to arrive at a mutual beneficial agreement. So this is about concession, right? And once, you know, you have devised the concession, right, you should go for documenting the negotiation. Also, like, you know, before documenting, before ending the negotiation, one thing is very clear. So if, you know, you are not able to get, you know, the if you have reached here, you know, it is always and if still mutual agreement has not been arrived, it is always better to walk out of negotiation. Means no deal is better than, you know, not preferable deal or a bad deal. So it is better not to go for that deal or go for agreements. That means one should know what must be the end point, right? So this is a few points one has to keep in mind, while devising strategy of the this thing strategy of negotiation. Okay, so and when we would devise strategy clear about objectives and concessions, after the end of negotiation we must document, because the user department might or might not be part of negotiation team. Ideally the user department personnel be there, but in case all personnel belonging to the user department are not there, it would be easy for them to understand what has happened in the negotiation and how it has happened, how it progressed, what were the points, like where concessions could have been offered, right? So one should also document two things very important. Document the comparison of negotiation plan and objectives with those of actual outcomes. For example, if we will take this one, so we can say that what was the opening, so when we opened at what, whether it was here or something in between. So what was the gap, right? Have we forego something, right? Had we foregone something in terms of getting some other value. So this is very important for document. So first we need to have a comparison, right? What we proposed, like in a plan with the objective with those of actual outcomes, right? It also tells teams effectiveness, right? How close we were, like whatever ideals we have set, whether they were good targets, and how far the team, the party has been able to achieve that, right? It also tells opening position and bottom line position for each of the key objective or issue, right? So if the party was able to get the agreement very close to the opening position itself, then that is a big success. Okay. And also, there should be executive summary of negotiation, because for audits or approvals it is very important. So achievement in relation to initial goals, that should be listed in the documentation. What are the cost and benefits? Okay, so how much price we could able to reduce, right? How big contract we are able to handle, have we got access to new technology, which would either mechanize our process or reduce time to market for our products. What are the alternative course of action, just in case if negotiation was not successful, is there any alternative course of action, right? So all those things when you would document, it would be very important, right? So this can also be used as a data for your next time negotiation. You would come to know like what is the potential here, so what are the savings you could achieve, right? On which aspects you could able to achieve saving, where are the cost elements, all those things can be uh, seen. So what we have done in today's session, we have seen the negotiation planning process, right? So here it is very important to brief also other stakeholders after documenting. So we should brief the other stakeholders, about the negotiation. And most important thing is practicing the negotiation. So before any party gets into the negotiation, they should along with the negotiation plan, strategies, right, information, right, with all that, one more important thing is to practice the negotiation. So in every the good part is that every party is an organization. Even that organization may have a marketing department. So marketing department is kind of like a supplier to the next entity in the supply chain. So for that organization, marketing department can be a good a good candidate which can help in practicing negotiation. So one can have a mock negotiation, one can have a role play negotiation where the marketing department's help can be taken, and roles can be decided. So a mock negotiation should take place by assigning some roles to the company's employees, so that one can come up with various scenarios which can uh, can originate at the time of real negotiation. So this practice, this mock negotiation, will be a kind of rehearsal, to bring out, many points, and be prepared for them. That would really help, in actually conducting negotiation in real life, real time scenarios. So this is all about how we can implement negotiation, conduct negotiation, and how we should be prepared about negotiation. Thank you.